Go on.
I think the problem is just human nature, innit? Like, so as a whole, the music industry is based on nepotism, innit? So what I mean by nepotism, just in case people don't know, is like it's within a family or it's within someone you know. Like that, like they say, it's who you know, not what you know. So it's like people are bringing inexperienced people into the music industry who have no understanding of music, maybe no love for the music, and then what have you even been through life? Because this is a people business, isn't it? You got to really understand people as a whole, especially musicians. A lot of musicians are broken people. That's why they run to music as their escapism. So then you've got all this nepotism and all these inexperienced people handling damaged people. People that you should handle with extra care are getting handled by ignorant people. So I don't think the industry is like evil, that there's some devil wearing horns. It's just another reflection of human nature. There's good, there's bad. No one's all good, no one's all bad. But because there's that like continued ignorance that no one wants to rectify, there will always be another sad story. There will always be someone that's been neglected. There will always be someone that's been broken, that's not capable to be in the music industry. So I think it's just the problem is human nature, innit? And willful ignorance.
You said the people inside the buildings rinsed another broken kid from a working class environment, and they're going to do it again and again. Elaborate on that.
So with me, again, like a lot of my problems are really like deep. Like there's a lot of deep problems. So even with my situation, last year is when I remembered about the core, like, or was it last year? Might have been the very end of the year before, but that's when I remembered about my abuse in it. It's like when I was a child, and that's like the surface. I haven't really got intricate about it. There's things that I'm like saving away that I don't want to talk about just yet, but it's like I vocalized that to someone in my like label team. So I'm like, yo, I'm just not with it. Like I'm just trying to sort myself out. And that's when me and the label have separated. So now you're doing hard negotiations with me whilst I'm in a vulnerable state. Because I've already vocalized I'm tired, innit? And that's just business. To be honest with you, business can be cruel. But it's just like, you lot know I'm sorting a lot of stuff out.
How do you feel like they could have supported you?
I think one, you could have. I think a lot of them don't want to give you your freedom. They don't understand where the music comes from, innit, first and foremost. So I think that's the key problem, because I'm telling them, yo, all of these songs that you lot love of me were genuine songs. I didn't make them to try and chase this, but that's what happened. I was like, maybe just leave me in that bag. But they're like, because they care, and obviously it's their job as well, they need to get results. They're pushing you for what they think is the certain thing, innit? Because they're like, yo, if this works now, it's going to work again. But it's like, I have to be in that space again to make it. So I think it's just maybe more communication, more understanding. But if you don't understand it, you can't understand it. I think following that as well, with my scenario, it's like, what we had during the negotiations is you're asking for more than you're entitled to, and you know that you're asking for more than you're entitled to. So you're asking for masters that I've made before I was even with you. But you know, with the negotiation process, it's like they can drag it out, and COVID's just happened. So you know man, them ain't performing as much. So you're trying to take what is my security and things that I've earned whilst I'm in a vulnerable state. I think that's more predatory. But like, you know, they're the predator, I'm the prey. Like, that's just how it's set up. So it's like, they're like doing a war of attrition. It's like, yeah, you lot got the capital to like outlast me and do like the whole legal battle with me. There's artist, George something, and he was in Sony, and like he done a long war for his masters. Wow. And by the time he got it, they'd rinsed him anyway. Wow. So I'm like, yo, you lot know you're being inhumane. And if the artists are quiet, yeah, because at this point in my career, I'm not even on socials. I'm not really doing the outspoken thing because, like I said, I need to figure out everything and process it. It's like you're taking advantage of that because it's just going to be another thing that's swept under the rug. It's our dirty little secret. And then when you speak up about it, that's when you shake the doors. When you start being vocal, that's when they want to rescind because they know what they're doing. It's like they're ashamed of it, innit? Because if you say it from a human level, they know as human beings that's a dirty thing to do, but that's the business, innit?
Yeah. Even you like the broken kid element, because there like a lot of talent comes from certain types of environment, especially within our culture. Yeah. What do you think that they could do in regards to like being delicate and being understanding with dealing with artists that come from that? And is it their job to do that, or is it our job as a community and also as people that have a certain understanding more of it, whether they're in it or outside it or had their own experiences or just have a certain type of perspective anyway, more to sit and talk to each other about it, to have an understanding of what essentially you're getting into when you are working with a business? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a business.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's a conversation to be had still, because your message that you put up the other day is not like the first that you're hearing of people that have been a part of a system or a business and come away from it and almost felt stripped naked.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? But is that a them problem, or is that more of a thing of like, as we're moving on now, we're starting to understand things better, we need to really have conversations about, like, it's when people are dangling money at you or whatever, this sounds great, I get it, you come from here or whatnot, but here, you know what, let me just pick up a phone and let me just have a little light conversation with you and explain to you before you do what you're doing, and not to scare you though, not to scare you and say to you, you know what, this is exactly likely to happen, but let's broaden the conversation here quickly, because this is, as much as this seems positive, these are the negatives too, and these are the things that you need to look out for, so that when you are in that position, or you are there, you are almost kind of not necessarily wise to what has happened, but you're kind of preempted. Most people are not preempted, especially when you're young, and you sign.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, does that make it techie? Like, whose job and whose responsibility is it to do that? Like, should they have someone in the label who, like, a department that is a duty of care? Do you get what I'm saying? Actively is there for your well-being.
Everyone's job, man. I think it's everyone's job, like, but that is getting so deep. You're asking me to maybe, we're talking about fixing the world essentially, because it's like, it is a bit of the community, it is a bit of them, it is a bit of the artists, but what we know is just human nature will be human nature. That's why history repeats itself. That's why there's the Russia and Ukraine war. No one wants war, but yet again, here it is, isn't it? So it's like, if they're not learning and it's on a global scale, people are losing lives. Music business, people aren't losing lives at the same rate. That's just the world that we're in, innit? However, so I think in music, you can't really tell the youths not to sign, because they're in like whatever state they're in. It's almost like you're in a psychosis, or you're so, like, to think about it, to think you're going to be the person that blows up from ends, you're already unrealistic. Do you get what I mean? It's not a realistic career path. But you had to believe in yourself so much that when someone tells you, you're not going to be the one to change it, you just think it's another thing that they're saying. You get what I'm trying to say? It's like, oh yeah, I've had all the doubt already. Like, we've heard all the doubt already. It's like, nah. So I've given artists some advice and I said, nah, man, don't sign that. And they'll be like, nah, brother, it might have happened to you. I'm like, boy, like, I want to help you, but I also understand where you're coming from, because that's the similar energy that I had, and that's how it repeats itself. Because you have to be that headstrong to get here, but it's not going to keep you here. So it's like, what do you do? I think maybe if the music business wanted to be a bit better, nurture the artists that you have. like take them and say, yeah, we know you're a bit tweaked. Like we need to take you therapy. You need to get taken therapy. But again, how do you have that conversation with someone?